to Stories by the Fire. I'm Wildfire, and today we'll be reading Watching, Part 1. Before we settle in with our story, remember to like and subscribe for my algorithm, for your algorithm, and to keep me encouraged. That being said, grab your comfort beverage if you can, mine is sweet tea today, and enjoy the story. Watching is a fairy tale Laxus ex Lucific written by Thereshay and is rated T. Standard operating procedure on this channel means I'll be trying to censor language to a certain extent, with the author's blessing, of course. Neither I nor the author own fairy tale or any of its characters. Chapter 1. Empty Mornings. Big, sparkling chocolate eyes. Her eyes smile. I wonder if her smile tastes like chocolate. She's singing. I hear her laughing. Her laugh sparkles, just like her eyes. I open my eyes to see her better, and she is gone. It's just me in my empty, silent, dead apartment, dreaming again. Before I even wake up, she's there in my head. I hate waking up, but the sun is shining, so I know I can't go back to sleep. I drag myself out of bed, take a shower, make myself look human, and stumble half dead to the guild hall. I need coffee. Mavis, I hate mornings. They're too early. Mira's happy this morning. Why is she always so happy? No one has any reason to be this happy, especially this early. At least the other happy people are being quiet about it. Wendy doesn't usually make a lot of noise, and Levy's books keep her quiet. Think Mavis, Team Chaos, doesn't usually make an appearance this early. Sometimes she's here in the mornings, but not today. I'm in luck, or not. I wish she was here, but I don't want her anywhere near me. It's complicated. Apparently, I like being miserable. 2 days. It's been 2 days since I've seen her. I haven't heard anyone mention a mission, but if she doesn't come in today, I will ask if her team took one. Except I won't. If I'm careful, maybe I can find out. I signal Mira for coffee. My team was still drinking when I left last night. Well, Freed was only technically drinking, as a single glass of wine hardly counts. He may be in soon, but as long as no one riles him up, he will tuck himself into a book and pretend he isn't watching Mira. Kana isn't passed out at the bar, so chances are Bixlow managed to get her to go home with him last night. No Elfman either. If Evergreen left with him, separately of course, but who do they think they're fooling? That means I've got a couple hours before they show up and start bickering. The guild hall doors open. I take a slow breath. I don't smell strawberries, so it's not her. Please be someone quiet and not happy. 1 cup of coffee isn't enough. Good morning, everyone! Lysana. Too happy. I've got a tiny soft spot for the youngest Strauss after she died and was missing for years. I'll let it slide. This time. Morning, Lysana! Ugh. Why do they all shout? I might electrocute the rest of them. If they do it again, I will seriously consider it. I signal Mira for more coffee. Lysana perches a couple stools down. Hey, Mira, is Natsu's team on a job? I didn't see them last night when I got back from that job Juvia and I took. Don't react. You don't care. Don't look interested. They should be back this morning, since they weren't in last night. Maybe tomorrow, if they had trouble? It was just a small monster hunting job. Great. Flamebrain is going to go overboard again, which will get Urz all excited, and Gray will make it into a competition, and Blondie will come back hurt. Again. Where is Juvia anyway? She isn't usually a late riser unless she stays up really late watching Gray. She didn't come in last night either, did she? She was exhausted by the time we got home yesterday. Herding fish is really hard work, Mira. They were playing with fish. Who needs to have fish herded? Chasing fish. Just the kind of job those two would do, I guess. Maybe I will just hang around the guild hall today. I might get a chance to zap Natsu good if they come back. Gray too, if I'm lucky. If I'm here, I can make sure she's okay. Might even get to hear her laugh. I wonder if Mira would mix some chocolate in my coffee if I asked. 2 more cups of coffee had not been enough to make Evergreen and Bixlow's toddler brawl tolerable. My hopes for a peaceful morning were shattered by a giggling tornado of fairy dust. Yes, I zapped them. They asked for it. Was it with more volts than necessary? Also yes. Did it put me in a better mood? Not really. The chocolate in my coffee helped, though. I did not ask Mira for it. I made Freed do it. An hour into my day, and halfway through my first cup of chocolate-laced coffee, the first non-toddler brawl of the day started over Levy. Literally. Gaugiel shot himself out of his self-assigned corner of death glares over Levy's head to reach Jet, because his mouth moves almost as fast as his feet. I don't think the poor girl even noticed. I savored the warm chocolate taste on my tongue as I watched little Wendy, with Carla floating behind her, crawl under Levy's table to take the seat Gaugiel had just vacated. Lily transformed into his battle form just to keep the blue nets from being crushed to death by a flying table. I glared at my empty mug as the heathens continued to roar. Freed, being the only one of my team yet to descend into the madness below, noticed my displeasure. I generously allowed him the honor of risking his life to bring me more of the warm, soothing chocolate brew. Blondie can't get home soon enough. Chapter 2. Toddlers and Chaos. 6 cups of coffee had me feeling as human as I could expect for the day, especially with her gone. The guild had calmed down enough that I returned my mug to the happy demon myself, though I had to avoid a stone elfman to get there, and barely restrained myself from doing something cruel to Metalhead, where he lay incapacitated by one of Levy's giant tomes. A nagging Carla was weeding out those she saw as unworthy of her little dragoness's tender generosity. Jet was sent away as an instigator of the chaos. Bixlow was perched on the table behind them, backing Carla more than Wendy, in his odd big brother role he had assumed since the giant fish clock incident. I felt a growl vibrate through my chest, remembering the tears Blondie had shed after that. We didn't see very many, but she lost her sparkle for a while. And I am a dragon slayer. Even if I'm only 2nd gen, I could smell the salt. It bothered me that I hadn't been around to help teach the Neo-Irashian Sais and the Puppet Legion platoon how stupid it was to mess with Fairy Tale. We almost lost her. If they had their way, I never would have heard her sparkling laugh again. I'd been too busy feeling sorry for myself at the time, and hadn't realized anything was up until the world turned on its head, when the real nightmare spell activated, when the clock took Lucy. The doors swung wide as the last person in Wendy's Band-Aid line settled into their pre-brawl seat. Well, think of the devil and he shall appear. There stood Crime Sorciere in all their not-so-mysterious cloaked glory. They had long since been welcomed among us with open arms and full mugs of beer. I smiled inside at their appearance. Team Natsu, and what had come to be seen as our sister guild, had a barely, mostly, not quite healthy prank war going, and I had so far managed to keep myself out of it. Though, since Cobra, Jalal, and Midnight, Angel too, depending on whether she and the narco were on or off that week, tended to seek refuge from the general madness in the S-Class lounge, I had my doubts that I would remain unscathed. I'd seen Cobra eye me one too many times to let down my guard. Mira was the only other one of our guildmates who had managed to stay clean. But no one would be messing with Mira. Obviously. She was safe since she was Mira. I watched as Meridy's pink head bounced up to the bar to scheme with the Strauss sisters. Juvia, Keenana, and Lockie joined their huddle, and their high-pitched squeals caused Cobra to wince and scurry up the stairs to join me in the lounge. Angel was apparently in a good mood this week, because she and Midnight followed at a slower, sleepier pace. Jalal gathered all their matching cloaks to him for protection, before bringing them up the stairs and tucking them under his chair. Those particular possessions had suffered greatly in the prank war. They had seen the bottom of the canal, been dyed pink, and set on fire. Last time they visited, the cloaks had been placed in a box behind the bar until they left. It hadn't saved them. Crime Sorcier had walked out of the guild that day none the wiser until an hour down the road, when an enraged cobra had called on the guild hall lacrima to threaten a slow, painful death on whoever had extensively bedazzled the hems. I can feel the smirk on my face in response to Cobra's scowl. Since no one was dead, it must have been Blondie. Levy's laughter rose from the corner where Racer and Richard had joined Team Shadowgear and the glaring scrap heap. For some reason, she seemed to find Richard highly amusing. I pulled my eyes from the odd group as Keenana came up the stairs and placed an enormous platter of chocolate chip cookies on the table. Freed followed with a steaming pot, also smelling of chocolate, and a tray filled with mugs. Keenana pulled out a purple one adorned with a skull and crossbones that the girls kept around just for the one-eyed psycho's visits. Pouring a small amount of something that smelled very dangerous into it from a vial in her pocket, and filling it with what turned out to be hot chocolate before taking her usual place in Cobra's lap. I've only ever witnessed Cobra willingly allow 5 people to touch him. Everyone else gets poisoned. While Keenana was apparently allowed the liberty to full-on cuddle with him whenever she wanted, I've only ever seen shoulder and elbow nudges exchanged between him and Midnight and Angel. Urza, despite having kicked both Cobra's and Midnight's asses, had an odd ritual with all of the ex-Sace, where she would place a hand on the back of their neck and rest her forehead against theirs. It was definitely not the full-on, concussion-causing armored hugs she forced on the rest of her guildmates, but it seemed to be the former tower residents' version of a hug, and I'd seen all of them return it. Then there was Lucy. Blondie was everyone's best friend, sister, or whatever she was to Natsu, and as such, had heard more about the tower from Urza than all of the rest of us combined. So when she heard Eric, and I still don't know why Keenana calls him that, tell Q, again, no clue, that he was glad she didn't have memories of when they were in the tower. Only stupid people, like Natsu, asked about their past history. She had abandoned her strawberry milkshake to all but run to the end of the bar and wrap Cobra in the biggest hug she could manage and cry all over his shirt. The absolute shock on his face, echoed on every other face in the guild hall that day, was all but comical. Cobra's attempt to escape by claiming it wasn't a big deal, and they had all been there, had been called a lie to his face, and only caused the tears and hugs to be reproduced on every other former Sace member present. Ever since then, all of them got hugs every single visit, and Blondie added Cobra and Midnight to her long list of brothers. Freed brought me a plate of cookies and a full mug of chocolate before joining Midnight and Angel in the reading nook he and Lucy had set up for the more intellectual visitors to what I still thought of as my balcony, though I was far from the only one who came up here these days, especially when the witches were in town. Racer and Jet started the second guild brawl of the day when they crashed into Elfman and Evergreen, where the Knot couple just happened to be sitting at the same table. Freed got involved when a flying chair passed close enough to Mira Jane that her hair danced in its wake. Apparently Bix was feeling lazy today because he and Wendy were perched on the balcony rail, feet dangling more than 12 feet from solid ground, watching the guild destroy furniture Lockie remade less than an hour ago. Chapter 3. Caught. I hope she gets home soon. I can feel a storm in the air. She never keeps herself dry when it rains. She'll get sick if she has to sleep outside in the storm. Natsu doesn't get cold, Grey can't, and Urza is a monster. So it apparently never occurs to them that she is human. There's a rumble brewing in my chest. I shove a cookie in my mouth to swallow the growl with. Crap! Cobra. What did I do that drew his attention? He's listening to what's inside my head. I need to focus on something else. Rain. The storm. Lightning. Hunger. It's been too long since I've found a storm big enough to tear enough lightning from the clouds to satisfy me. Hungry. Think hungry, electric thoughts. Lightning. Sparks. Hungry. Chocolate. Sparkling chocolate eyes. Her laughter. Nope! Focus, Laxus. Too late. He's staring at me with his mouth open. I'm doomed. Great. Now he's laughing. I can feel every other eye in the lounge on us too. Just kill me now. Wait, is that pity I see in the crazy bastard's eye? No, but I do feel for you, man. Jalal and Kinana look very confused, and Yang and Yang look very awake and very interested from their ball of emo cuddles in the corner. Cobra's evil grin is very present. So? No way am I saying anything out loud for this audience. How long has she been all up in your head? I glare at him. Most people would respect the glare and leave me alone. Then again, most people can't hear the memories I can't stop from flickering through my mind. So much spark in her. Why won't she see me? Natsu, you idiot. Thoughts I had kept to myself for so long. Interest, confusion, anger, relief. She's alive. She came back. She survived an S-class mission. Galuna didn't take her. Feelings that I hadn't understood, that had spun my head like a top. Memories of how enraged I'd become in my confusion. Distraction. Ignore her. What is wrong with me? They hurt her. Get out of my head. She's making me weak. Why won't she see me? Destroy her. I can't. What have I done? The terror at the smell of her blood hanging above Tenro. No! Flinging myself onto the ship, between her crumpled form and Hades. I won't let you touch her. I won't let her get hurt again. The panicked feeling of weakness and uselessness as Acnologia bore down on us. The smell of her fear and blood and tears filling my head. Months' worth of memories after our return, while I tried so desperately not to care. Damn, man. I managed to get a handle of my memory stampede by grounding myself in Cobra's voice. You've perfected this I don't give a shit routine, haven't you? I watched Jalal's eyes widen in understanding across the table and growled. She? The blue-haired guilt-fest's single word seemed to snap Keenana's thoughts into line, and her eyes locked onto mine in shock. Laxus cares? I quickly glanced below to ensure the demon hadn't heard. Mira was minding her own business, but Keenana's outburst had Gajiel's full attention on the second-floor balcony. I glared at him, but he only settled back in his chair and grinned. His taunting laugh reached my sensitive Slayer ears across the guild hall. I let out a low, threatening growl only Slayer ears heard, and received one back from both male Slayers present. Cobra's growl must have been felt by his woman, because she eased herself off his lap and backed away from us, Wendy joining her in an all but miraculously quick response to the sub-audible threats. The kid's glare had definite hints of both Urza and Scary Lucy. You two need to either take it outside or cut it out immediately and stop scaring poor Keenana. I glanced at Cobra to see a hint of the same apprehension I was feeling displayed in his single eye. Chill, kid. I leaned back in my chair. letting my body language support my words. I'm not the flaming idiot. Besides, if the two of us threw down, there wouldn't be a guild left to get out of. Right, Cobra? Damn straight. Just be glad the pyro isn't here, Breezy, or stuff would already be on fire. Just fantastic. Gajil decided to join our balcony party, which means... I glance at his usual table. Yep, his bookworm's full focus is on us. Her eyes are lit up with curiosity as they flicker between her boyfriend and me. The last thing I need is her getting involved. All the more reason to deal with this now, short stuff. He shows up, catches a nose full of this tension. There's nothing Urza or Bunny Girl can do to keep Flame Brain from making this fight a reality. These people, all up in my space, and my business, are really starting to tick me off. Now the non-Slayer audience of this unwelcome conversation want to participate. Urza is fully capable of incapacitating Natsu in any situation. I wasn't aware Laxus had a heart, let alone know how to use it. Fall in a hole, Angel. My. This is entertaining enough to stay awake for even at this bright hour. I'm not afraid, Wendy. I was just getting out of Eric's way. I wouldn't want to slow him down. At least the Thunder Legion is too occupied with flirting to come make things worse. Levy just ran out of self-control and is trying to look casual as she follows Gajiel's path up the stairs. I need to end this before she gets here. She's too smart, and everything she learns, Blondie hears about sooner or later. Let's get a few things straight. 1, I don't need Blondie to protect me from Smoke for Brains. I can leave him twitching on the floor anytime I want to. 2, there's nothing going on that needs to be dealt with. And Natsu can't catch a nose full of something that doesn't exist. 3, none of you were invited to poke your noses in my business, so back off before I call down a full-blown storm on all your heads. Crap. There are too many grins. This is bad. What did I say wrong? Laxus? Oh no. Why is Wendy smiling like the demon? You do realize that by objecting so strongly to us being in your business, you are, in fact, admitting something is going on. No. No. This is bad. I'm going to go ahead and end part 1 here at the end of chapter 3. I really enjoy this story because it's not often you see a first-person point of view story that doesn't so much focus on the actions of the character as just tracing almost their background thoughts. You don't actually see Laxus do a lot, especially up to this point in the story. He's just... it's the thoughts in the back of his head that we're mostly listening to. And I really enjoy that. Reading the voices in this story has given me a lot of trouble because I've got a handful of females with really high, happy voices that are actually hard for me to do. And then the growly slayers here are a pain. Let me tell you. I was trying to make Cobra, like, give him that growl that he has in his voice. Especially in the English dub versions of the anime. But really, he came off as a snake with a sore throat. And I felt horrible because I couldn't get it right. This particular story was the first that Therashay posted on fanfiction.net, and she doesn't actually write on that site anymore. She does post, she posts on AO3, but this story is only on fanfiction.net. So, if you want to read it, you can go read it there. She does have things on AO3 as well. Recording is a new thing for me, so if anyone has any constructive criticism or advice, feel free to leave it. and I love to hear comments about the stories that I read. I love them and I share them so that other people can love them as well. The link to the original work will be in the description, as well as the link to the Stories by the Fire Discord server, if anyone wants to come chatter. I do appreciate constructive criticism and advice in regards to my videos, and I would love to hear what you have to say about the story itself. Before we leave, one of my littlest embers has a message for you.
Like the video to support Wildfire. Subscribe to Stories by the Fire so you can find the rest of her videos. Hit the bell so you are notified when she posts her next video. Have a peaceful day or night. Bye-bye.